Hello and welcome again. Good to know you're there. Thank you so much for being around. You've been awesome. Subscribing, following, liking, sharing. Thanks for your comments too. Now, we already started and today we'll be drawing the curtains on Dietary Zinc. Now, in the previous video, the last two we considered the functions, and like we said, the functions of zinc so enormous. Now that gives credence to the fact that though they are called trace elements or trace minerals, it doesn't in any way diminish their effect or effectiveness. So the enormity of the functions of zinc is something to really consider. Now, however, if it ever happens that a person is deficient in zinc, dietary zinc, what are some of the signs we see, some of the symptoms? The word deficiency means lacking in. So we looked at the historical perspective, looked at the sources, animal sources and plant sources of dietary zinc. We looked at absorption and transportation. We looked at the functions. Today we'll introduce our deficiency. But please do well to look at the previous videos so you get understanding of how far we've come, so you understand. And please don't forget to like, share and make your comments, ask a question. So let's go into what we have. Deficiency symptoms. Now, deficiency symptoms of zinc can be mild or severe depending on either the person is not taking enough zinc in the diet or it's not properly absorbed. We talked about absorption that occurs in the small intestine, just like many other minerals. Now, dietary zinc plays a vital role. If in any way it's not properly absorbed or not taken much in the person or animal's food or feed, has a lot of physiological functions, problems. The term physiology has to do with, or just make it very simple, function. Just like anatomy has to do with structure, physiology has to do with functions. Now let's go here, I'll come back here. Now, the common deficiency symptoms is growth retardation or retarded growth. Now, we talked about it historically that it was found out that in places like in the Middle East then, where they eat, or even till now, where they eat a lot of considerably good quantity of unleavened bread that is usually flat. Those bread, children were born will usually have growth retardation in growth. Now, why is it that? Because the actual component or ingredient that makes bread to become leavened or to swell or to rise, the right word, is actually yeast. Yeast is in the category of fungi. These are rich sources of zinc. So when a person's food or feed of an animal is deficient in zinc, it affects what? The growth rate. So the growth rate is heavily impacted when growth rate is retarded when there's deficiency of zinc. Now the next is delayed wound healing. Wound healing, now zinc plays a lot of roles starting from when the injury occurs to the time it's healed, including burns. Zinc prevents what? Inflammation immediately happens, mobilizing white blood cells and other immune system components to make sure to fight bacteria and other pathogens from getting in. So stopping or preventing possibilities of inflammation. Inflammation means swelling or distension, more technically. So zinc plays that role. And then in the actual healing process, zinc plays a role, including with the conclusion of it. Zinc plays a role in ensuring that the injury heals very fast, and also ensuring the integrity of the skin. Thank you. Then the loss of appetite and loss of weight. Of course, you know that when an animal or a human loses appetite, he actually loses weight. Certain enzymes that help in breaking down food have zinc as a cofactor. If zinc is deficient in the food, it affects actually the breaking down of the food. The food is not properly broken down, and then that can also, in a ripple effect, affect appetite for more food. Then, number 4, impaired immune response. Zinc has been found to help or boost the synthesis of certain proteins that help in protecting the body, including RNA synthesis and DNA production. Now, when zinc is not sufficient in a person's food or an animal's food, it also reduces the immune system. Certain cells like the T cells that helps protect breakages in the skin, and also B cells and the T kill cells are actually controlled by the presence of zinc in the food or that is consumed and absorbed in the body. So it helps what in the immune response. So T cells building and the building of B cells and the NK cells, once they are impaired, the production of them impaired, it affects the immune system. The immune system is compromised, and that animal or human, it becomes susceptible to disease caused by pathogens. Now the next thing is hair loss. Hair loss is also called alopecia. That is alopecia. I think it's one L. Alopecia. Alopecia means lack of production of enough hair. It could be fur or feathers in animals. So lack of it, zinc produces them. What is that? Because zinc helps in the production of a lot of proteins, as a matter of fact, including enzymes and hormones. So hairs, the melanin that has to do with the skin, and the keratin that has to do with this, their production, their synthesis is actually also controlled, or importantly, zinc plays an important role in them. So when zinc quantity is not as required level, it affects hair. So yeah, the animal begins to lose hair, or if it's human, begins to lose hair. Now that is one. Now other ailments can cause alopecia, in which case you can have leukemia causing alopecia and the others, but zinc deficiency causes alopecia, not the only cause of it. Then number 6 deficiency symptom is zinc lesion, skin lesion, that is injury of cutting or tearing, and dermatitis. The term dermatitis may look big, but it means inflammation of certain skin part tissues. So titis, like I said, anything that is with titis has to do with inflammation. The word inflammation may be high for some people. Inflammation means, in quotes, swelling, or more technically, distension. So the swelling of certain parts of the skin can be prevented by having enough quantity of zinc in the diet. So, and especially around the mouth and the hands. So enough quantity of zinc in the diet actually helps prevent alopecia, skin lesion, cutting the zinc, and dermatitis. Number 7 is delayed sexual maturity and hypogonadism in male. Now in the last video, I talked about the importance of zinc in the production of testosterone, which is the male secondary hormone, very important in developing the male secondary organs and secondary features, including production of semen and sperm cells. So when there is a deficiency in zinc, it affects production of sperm cells. The sperm cells is seriously compromised. So it's going to cause hypo. Hypo, like I told you, means deficient in or not enough gonadism, certain hormones that are produced by the gonads. The gonad means sexual structure. The male sexual structure, the gonad, is hypogonadism in male. So the male sexual structures are not properly developed. So deficiency in zinc affects the development of the testes and other sex structures of the male sex organ. Number 6 is loss of or alteration of taste. Now, which is hypoglycemia, which is deficiency in zinc affects the ability to taste certain things. So people who are deficient in it, one of the signs is that they are not able to taste certain things. It could be salt, it could be certain things that are not so harsh or not so profound in their effect, so you're not able to taste them. Number 9 is night blindness and eye problems. So because of production of certain hormones and enzymes, deficiency and cofactors, it affects the sight in the night, and also it can even lead to certain severe eye problem, which is deficiency of zinc leads to. And then quickly, behavioral changes like depression and irritability. Now, when a person is deficient in zinc, he is not able to get certain, yes, person easily gets irritated, gets angry fast, and sometimes too, transmission of impulses is also impaired, because nerve endings and nerve impulses are strengthened, built also by the presence of zinc in the body enough. Now, their age group and different people at different physiological age, different physiological stage and age are affected. Now, for example, now I talked about previously, lactating women, zinc is actually very important in the milk production. Zinc also is very important in keeping the fetus. For pregnant women, zinc is key. We can't overemphasize on that. And also for the fetus inside the womb, zinc is actually good in the in the elongation of the bone, development of the fetus. Even when the baby is born as an infant, zinc is actually very crucial for the body. And then in adolescence, the development of the secondary sexual characteristics, zinc actually has been found to be very, very, very crucial. So zinc is very important in every aspect, starting from when we're in the womb to when we come out as a baby, the young little child running around, to the adolescents, and even to the elderly. Very, very crucial. Now, certain people are usually much affected by deficiency, usually the elderly, because sometimes certain functions of the body are now impaired. Sometimes it could be absorption. Sometimes when people are old, they begin to select food. They don't eat all kind of food. So it may be that they're selecting one that can give them enough zinc. Another are vegetarians. Vegetarians cannot avoid certain food. And most mineral-rich food, which also include most zinc-rich food, are from animal proteins. Like you have the milk and cheese and the meat itself. So even alcoholics can also very easily prone, because alcohol have a way of dousing the production of utilization of other minerals in the body. Now, I've talked about all the deficiency symptoms affecting growth, delayed wound healing, loss of hair, and others. Now, maybe you have one or two that you know deficiency of zinc leads to. Please put them in the comment section. I like to know, others want to know. You want to be a contributor, please go ahead. You have a question, please ask. I want to take a bow at this point. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing. We'll meet again.